Hey y'all, it's me Alex. Today I am going to do a quick little favorites video. Well, I haven't filmed it yet, so I don't actually know how quick it's gonna be. But, that was loud. But I do have a few favorites. I haven't explored too much new makeup recently. I don't know. I feel as though I just haven't really had a lot of time to explore all the new makeup just because finals have happened and I'm just gonna blame it all on finals. But I do have a few things, a couple of revisits, a couple hair care products, and then also a lot of stuff that I've been enjoying that aren't makeup, mostly like Netflixy type stuff. So I am going to just go ahead and get into it. So I have three palette favorites. The first one is actually from last month, but it is the BH Cosmetics Weekend Festival palette. Now you will have seen that I did a 3 looks 1 palette video that I admit this palette was like covering up my face half the time. But these shadows are so gosh darn pretty. All of these gorgeous colorful mattes are just everything that I have ever wanted. This shade Palooza is so beautiful. I was able to create like with this shade and this one and that, I was able to create like a very unicorn frappuccino type look, if anybody remembers that. This is exactly kind of what I've wanted from a drugstore palette. It's like 18 bucks, and that it's a really nice mix of neutrals and colors, and also a really nice mix of mattes and shimmers. I feel as though if you're the kind of person who is looking to get into color but doesn't quite know where to start, like you started off with very neutral makeup, I feel as though this would be a really good palette for you. That wasn't how I got into colorful makeup, because I started off with colorful makeup and then I got into more neutral makeup, but I feel as though you can get a really good variety out of these colors. Everything in this palette is really pigmented. There's a tiny bit of fallout, but to me that isn't so bad because I usually do my eyes before I do my face anyway. I think the mattes especially I'm really impressed with. They're like really good quality. They're kind of like one swipe and you're good. You don't have to really build it up, which is a lot of the problems that I have with a lot of drugstore mattes. I haven't heard any bad things about this palette. Everybody who's tried it has said that it was really good quality, and I'm no exception because it's gorgeous. Another palette that I haven't mentioned before is this Michelu Cosmetics Witchcraft palette. Now this is one that I'm still kind of exploring. It doesn't have my favorite shadow formula, but it does have like one of my favorite color schemes that I have ever seen in an eyeshadow palette. I think that this is one of the most unique palettes that I have come across when it comes to the colors in it. I know a lot of people have said stuff about the neutrals with a pop of color. I feel as though this is a lot of color with a pop of like neutral. The main difference between these two palettes to me is that the festival palette is if you want to get a unique look and it's like very quick out the door, colorful, fun look. Whereas this one takes a little bit more effort. So if you only have like 10 minutes to get ready in the morning, this is not the palette for you. But if you're someone like me who does really enjoy exploring and playing around with different formulas of eyeshadow, then I think you would get a lot of good use out of it. I did struggle a little bit with Cauldron there just because it does take a little bit more digging to get into, and I do recommend just foiling the eyeshadows with like some setting spray or some water or something, but I do think that this is such a beautiful palette. I want to try more from Michelu. It's not my favorite formula, but it's one of my favorites to play around with simply because it is so gorgeous and unique, and I'm just talking in circles right now, but this is so fun. Michelu also, I did want to talk about it a little bit because I did order from them online and I was really nervous about it. One, because I didn't see on their website whether they were cruelty-free or not. So I was looking around on their website one Sunday, and so they had like a little chat bar. Yeah, I think it was like a little chat bar that I was like, okay, I'm gonna just put in my email address and shoot them a quick like chat or email or something and ask about their cruelty-free status. I didn't expect anybody to respond because this is like an indie brand and it was a Sunday, so I was like, sure, nobody's probably online right now, but they actually responded basically immediately and told me that they're all completely cruelty-free, which I thought was really good, and we actually started chatting a little bit about like how important it is to not test on animals and things of that nature. So I thought that was something that really impressed me. Since they were a small brand, I didn't expect the quick response or just like how much care they put into it, but they really did. And this came within a pretty reasonable amount of time, what with it coming from the UK. So I would totally recommend this if you are interested in it. And the other palette is actually something that's been discontinued, but it's what's on my eyes right now, and it is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Self-Made palette. When I was going through some of my palettes, because I was like trying to figure out what I want to use during May, what I haven't used in a while, this was one that definitely came up for me, but as you can see, it's very, very, very well loved. I've hit pan in Treasure, Hot and Cold, Hot Chocolate, and Buttery, all of which are shades that I'm actually wearing on my eyes right now. Now, this was one of my favorite palettes when I first got it. It's also the reason that Anastasia has one of my favorite eyeshadow formulas ever, because this was the first eyeshadow palette that I got that even with the best primer, well, with any primer that I used, it did not crease on me, which is really impressive because my lids are oily AF. And I think all of these shades are so beautiful, and that you can get a variety of looks out of this palette. You can get a more neutral look like what I have going on today. This is one of the reasons that I like it, is because like I'm kind of working now and I am not doing as much intense makeup on a daily basis as I would normally do, so I think this is a really good palette to get that in there. Or if you want a pop of color with deep purple, I think deep purple is so gorgeous. Metallic Plum is one of my favorites that I really want to use more often. This is just like gorgeous all over the lid for a smoky eye. Like for a smoky eye, I love putting Metallic Plum on the lid, Hot Chocolate in the crease, Buttery on the brow bone, and Treasure in my inner corner. I also think Ela is really pretty. I just love all of the shades in this palette. This, to me, is one of the best formulas. I really wish Anastasia had kept this around permanently, but this came around back when she was making all of her eyeshadow palettes limited edition, before Modern Renaissance and all of that, so I do understand why most people can't get their hands on it. However, if you do have it in your collection, I would highly recommend just like bringing it back out and playing around with it, because one of the main reasons I wanted to play around with this was because when I first got this palette, I was on YouTube and I was doing pretty well with my makeup, but I also know that I've evolved a lot in my techniques since then, and I wanted to see like, okay, how would this palette look knowing how to do the kind of looks that I do now? And I noticed that like the shadows blend just as well as they did when I had first gotten it, but I can do so much more things. I know how to do a cut crease and a halo eye and all the stuff like that. Like before, I just kind of knew how to do kind of like what I have on right now, like a more basic, normal shape, average. I don't know about average because I think I look pretty good, but you know what I mean, that kind of a thing when it comes to eye makeup. So I've had a really fun time playing around with this. I will say the only thing that bothers me, because this was what bothered me when I first got it, and it still bothers me to this day, sherbet is misspelled. A lot of people think that it's spelled sherbet, which is how it's spelled in this palette, and that annoys the heck out of me because it is sherbet. If you look on any package of sherbet in the frozen section of any grocery store, you will see that there's only one R. That, like, it's a tiny rant, but also, like, Anastasia is a big frickin' brand that is, like, official and sold in Sephora, so I wish they would have spelled sherbet correctly. But that's the thing, and, like, that is completely overshadowed by how much I love this palette in general, so I can't overlook it. It's really pretty, and it is one of the best eyeshadow palettes that I think I have in my collection, and I am gonna keep continuing using this over the summer just because I would like to hit pan on a few more shades, because I think that this is just a really, really, really pretty palette. Okay, so I don't really have any other makeup products that I've tried this month that is any different from what I've liked any other month. I have been doing the exact same thing for my face makeup. I just put on a little BB cream, Kat Von D contour palette, Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer, Wet n Wild highlight, and Tarte Blush and Party. And that is what I have on my face. Also, Wet n Wild Photo Focus Concealer. I'm not sure if I've talked about that before, but it's pretty decent. But I do have a couple hair care products that I've tried that I am absolutely in love with. They're from the same brand, they're both from Verb. The first one is their Ghost Oil, and I got both of these in the VIB sale. You might have seen this in my birthday haul, just because I'm trying to step up my hair care game in 2018, because my hair, I don't bleach my hair anymore, but obviously I color it. This is not my natural color, in case you couldn't tell. It's a different kind of damage than what it was before. I also have, for my hair type, I have very, very thick, kind of wavy, kind of not hair. It takes a lot of product in my hair in order for it to get to do anything. But anyway, long story short, I've been loving these two products. They've worked really well. So the first one is this Ghost Oil, and I love putting this on the ends of my hair. what I do is I shower at night because I know that my hair will not be dry by the time I like have to go to work if I shower in the morning. So I shower at night and I put this in the ends, just the ends, because my hair gets really oily at my roots really easily, so I don't need to put this in the roots just because I've colored and bleached and done all the things to my ends so much. That's the most damaged part of my hair, so I put this on the ends and then I braid it into 2 pigtails and just kind of sleep on that, because that really helps me to know what my hair is gonna look like in the morning, because if I kind of just let it down, it could either be like weirdly straight with a little bit of wave, or like I look like an electrocuted Furby when I wake up in the morning. And sometimes it looks really nice, but that's like 1 day per week that it would actually end up looking nice. The rest of the time it just ends up in a ponytail. So I do like putting it into braids at night, just so that I kind of have a more consistent style when I get up in the morning. And then what I do in the morning is I'll take the braids out and I'll put this Verb Sea Spray in my hair, which I really like. I've always loved a good sea salt spray when my hair was shorter, because I feel as though that provides like some really nice texture to it, and it does really help enhance my natural wave without it becoming like really thick and crunchy with like hairspray or other product. And I feel as though this works really well. So I'll just spray this in the morning, and if my bangs are looking kind of wonky, I will straighten those out. And my hair is really nice and good to go during the day. In my past videos, if you've seen me with my hair down and are wondering how I got my hair like that, that is basically the combination of products and routine that I've used. I don't really have a shampoo and conditioner combo that I like right now, but I'm working towards that. And kind of once I have that locked down, I think I want to do a full video on the hair care products that I love. So yeah, that is kind of the hair stuff that I've been doing recently. Now, this isn't a favorite, but this is a makeup product that I have tried this month, and I did want to mention it. I had originally thought to put this in my favorites, but now I'm not so sure. I've been going back and forth on this product a lot. It is the Essence Lash Princess Mascara. It's what I have on my eyes right now. Also got this during my birthday haul thing, and I don't know if I like it. At first I did not like it because it had simply given me a lot of length to my lashes and not a lot of volume, and I have naturally pretty long lashes. I like mascaras that make your lashes all like nice and fluffy, and this one isn't really it. But the more that I used it, the more I ended up liking it. So that's around the point when I was considering putting it into my favorites video. Until recently, and now it started smudging really easily, and I don't know if I like it, because the thing is, I do my BB cream, my concealer, and my brows, and then I'll do my eye makeup, put my mascara on, and that's when I start to do like my contour, bronzer, highlight, blush. And there have been so many times when I've gotten to the highlight point, and I do it like the highlight blush point, and I use a big fluffy brush to do blush as I do, as I have always done, as I have like never had an issue with before. And sometimes the brush might come up ever so slightly into my eyes, and the mascara will not be dry. It will smudge. It'll get like either onto my cheekbones or it will get onto my eyelid, and that's not a problem I've had with mascara a whole lot before. I used to use the Urban Decay Perversion mascara, which I'm seriously considering going back to after I finish this tube, just because that one is my holy grail all-time favorite. I get the mini for 10 bucks, and that lasts as long as a like I need a mascara to. So I don't think I'm gonna repurchase this, but I did want to give y'all an update because I know I was really on the fence about it when I had done my haul video. So this is kind of my Essence Lash Princess mascara journey. I also really want to try the new Milk Kush mascara, like the one that's made with like marijuana oil or something like that. Like, I'm not in it for that, but I saw like everybody who's tried it says that it makes your lashes look super fluffy, and that is something that I would seriously enjoy, because that is exactly my kind of mascara. I know it's pretty expensive, but I want to try it. That's my update on this product. I just felt as though I should mention it because I know I'm not mentioning a lot of like beauty products, but this is something I've tried and I didn't enjoy it as much as a lot of other people seem to enjoy it. So I'm going to go into all of the non-beauty hair care makeup-y favorites right now. I have a lot of stuff that I've been watching on Netflix and a podcast, and I also went to a live show, so I'm just gonna lump that all together because I've been having a really good time with all of that kind of stuff, even if I haven't been trying out a bunch of makeup. And I also feel so, you know, maybe I would want to kind of know that stuff. So the first thing that I have been loving is the podcast Getting Curious with Jonathan Van Ness. Now, I love Queer Eye. It warms my little gay heart, like, so much. And I'm also a person who grew up watching What Not to Wear, and this is like a more wholesome gay version of What Not to Wear, and I absolutely love it. And Jonathan is just like this beautiful, sweet ray of sunshine, and when I followed him on Instagram and Twitter, I found out he had a podcast, and I was like, whoa, I have to listen to that. I listened to a couple episodes where he was talking to Anthony and Karamo, both from Queer Eye, and then I started listening to more of his stuff. One of my favorites, if you want to listen to anyone to get into it, I highly recommend, there was one episode that was What Do White People Need to Know About Racism, and that one I thought was so powerful and so good. I am a white person who really cares about racism because you don't need to be personally impacted by something to care about it, because we should all have compassion and empathy for one another. And I feel as though that was a really good episode, even though I stay woke and all of that. I think it involves a lot of stuff that, like, I do really need to hear, and like talking about checking your privilege and checking other people's privilege and all of that, and I thought that was really good and powerful. There's still a lot of episodes that I haven't had a chance to listen to. I've been listening to it a lot because I've been like traveling a whole bunch this month, like to Virginia and back and all of that. So podcasts are really good for me to like not feel lonely in the car. And I've normally listened to about the same 3 podcasts over and over the years. And this is one that is completely new that has just captured my heart, and I 10 out of 10 would recommend. And here are a couple of the things that I've been enjoying on Netflix. I have officially started watching Gossip Girl, which I know is like I'm really late to the train when it comes to that, but I have taken my like free time as an adult to go back and watch all of the shows that I wasn't allowed to watch as a teenager, but like all of the cool girls from my youth group were allowed to watch, and holy crap, Gossip Girl has like captured my heart. I've made it just into season 3 right now, and like I am completely obsessed with it. That is what I come home to watch. I'm like not watching a whole bunch of other shows just so that I can like speed through it, because everything just captures, like, it is so drama filled, and like, yeah, it's kind of cheesy, and yeah, my parents had good reason for not letting me watch that when I was a teenager, but I think it's so fun to watch because it kind of has like all of the dramatic things of reality shows, but it doesn't actually have an impact on people. Like, I get there's like the cultural impact stuff, but like, it is fictional. None of these people have ever actually done any of that stuff. And Blair Waldorf is like my favorite character on that show. I know that sounds really bad because she's like kind of horrible, but I love her because she is just so dramatic, and like if I ever decided to not be a good person, I would want to be as good at being not a good person as she is. Maybe she'll also have like more of a change of heart because I love her human moments. Like, don't spoil anything in the comments for me because I've only made it to season 3, but I'm obsessed. Also, I've been watching a few stand-up specials on Netflix because I feel as though Netflix has been really killing the stand-up comedy game. I don't know if you'll know this about me, but I am kind of a stand-up comedy nerd. I'm a big fan of like shows like Mock the Week and Whose Line Is It Anyway? That's kind of what got me into comedy in general. Comedy is something that has helped me a lot because I'm a person who struggles with anxiety and depression, and when I was at my lowest with depression, comedy kind of like was the one thing that I knew that I could watch and like kind of really get something out of. So that's kind of why I like it as much as I do. So there are, I'll say about 3 stand-up specials that have recently come out on Netflix that I've watched and I really love. The first one is Kondabolu's stand-up special. I'm going to put the name up right here of that actual special because I can't remember the name for the life of me. But I saw him live back in September, October, and first of all, when you go to see him live, he is exactly everything that you would expect from seeing him like on Netflix and on YouTube. He is really funny. If you're a person like me who cares a lot about social justice and is like kind of more of a PC person, I hate that term, but it's what I am. I'm gonna freaking own it. He is really funny, and I absolutely love what he does. His sense of humor is kind of right up my alley in that it's both hilarious and activist all at once. So it's just kind of everything that I want. So I would highly recommend that one. I I also watched John Mulaney's new stand-up special, and John Mulaney is freaking hilarious. No matter who you are, what kind of anything that you're into, I don't know of anybody who wouldn't die laughing watching his stuff, and this one is just like no exception. And also I watched Notaro's new one last night, and I hadn't watched a whole bunch of her stuff, but my friend Scott recommended her to me, and her new special is Happy to Be Here, and he was telling me all about her story, about her battles with a lot of health issues, and kind of like this was her first special coming back from all of that. I watched it last night and I was like thoroughly impressed. Her sense of humor is very dry, so I don't always enjoy that, but I feel as though she does it very well, and I really love a lot of the jokes that she was making, especially when talking about her family life and all of that, so I think that that was really good. Also, on the subject of stand-up comedy, I got to see Greg Proops live at the Bell House doing his podcast on Saturday night, and holy crap, it's freaking amazing. My girlfriend got me tickets and I like cried because that man is the reason that I really got into stand-up comedy, because I had seen him on Whose Line and Mock the Week when I was like in college, and I just really enjoyed his stuff, and I started listening to his podcast, and my battery is low, so I'm gonna make this quick. But I really loved everything that he did. We had gotten there like literally at 6:50. The show started at 7. We were walking down the street just to get to the theater, and all of a sudden we passed this group of like 5 fancy dressed people, and we were like, okay, they must be here for the show. And as we were walking past, about 4 of them left, leaving 1 person behind, and I kind of looked back to see what was going on, and the one person who was still standing out there and was all nice and fancy dressed was Greg Proops, and he was just like out there smoking a cigarette. And I mentioned this to Casey, and Casey's like, do you want to go back? Do you want to go talk to him? And I was like, I'm too socially awkward. That was cool enough for me. If you saw in my Instagram story, I friggin' died. And it was just a really great show in general, and that situation is also further proof, as we discussed in my video on Monday, that my social anxiety will not get me anything that I want. It was just a really amazing podcast. It should be live on his website and on iTunes right now, because I think it officially came out Monday, and it was really great. Like, you just have to really listen to it. It was just such a good experience, and I would love to go see another one of his live shows. So my battery is dying, but I wanted to share all of those favorites with you. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe down below if you want to see more videos from me. And I'll see you on my next one. Hope you'll have a wonderful day. Bye.